On a quiet night in Abalene, Texas, in February of 2007, a tragedy unfolded that would shake a family and leave the world stunned. A crime so haunting, not only because of its brutality, but because of who carried it out. This is the story of Ella Bennett, a 4-year-old girl whose life was stolen by the one person she should have been able to trust the most, her own brother. Ella was a happy, playful child. The youngest in her family, she was adored by her mother, Charity, and those who knew her. To everyone, she seemed like the heart of the household, innocent and full of life. But behind the walls of that home, hidden tensions and darkness were building. Her older brother, Paris Lee Bennett, was just 13 years old at the time. On the surface, Paris was remarkable, highly intelligent, reportedly with a genius-level IQ and excelling academically. But underneath his brilliance lay a mind troubled by resentment, manipulation, and deeply disturbing thoughts. On the night of February 4th, 2007, Paris convinced the babysitter to leave after midnight, claiming he wanted some alone time. With his mother asleep, Paris went into the room of his little sister, Ella. What happened next was horrifying. He attacked her with a knife, stabbing her 17 times. She was just 4 years old. In those terrifying moments, Ella lost her life, not at the hands of a stranger, but her own brother. When police arrived, the chilling details began to unfold. Paris showed no signs of panic. He had called 911 himself, calmly reporting what he had done. Later, during interviews and evaluations, his motive became clear. He had never intended to harm Ella for her own sake. She was the target only because of what her loss would mean to their mother. Paris admitted that killing Ella was his way of punishing Charity, forcing her to experience unbearable grief. In his own words, he wanted his mother to suffer. The case stunned investigators and psychologists alike. Paris was just a boy, but his crime was calculated. He wasn't under the influence of drugs or alcohol. He wasn't lashing out in the heat of the moment. Instead, this was premeditated, deliberate, and chillingly intentional. Experts later noted his traits resembled those of psychopathy. Yet someone capable of empathy on the surface, but driven by cold, manipulative reasoning underneath. Paris pleaded guilty to capital murder and was sentenced to 40 years in prison, the maximum penalty available for a juvenile in Texas at the time. He will be eligible for parole after serving 20 years. For Charity, the punishment could never balance the loss of her daughter, nor the reality that her surviving child is the one responsible. In the years since, the case has been revisited in documentaries, including The Family I Had, which explores the devastating ripple effects on Charity and those left behind. Viewers saw Paris in interviews, intelligent, articulate, and disturbingly calm, as he explained why he had killed his little sister. He has at times expressed remorse, yet many remain unconvinced, unsettled by how detached his reflections can sound. The murder of Ella Bennett remains one of the most shocking crimes in recent history, not because it happened in some dangerous, unpredictable place, but because it happened within the safety of a home, between two children, one of them barely old enough to understand the world. It is a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about family, trust, and the darkest corners of the human mind. Ella's short life is remembered with love, and her story is told not just as a record of a tragedy, but as a reminder of how fragile innocence can be and how the most unthinkable horrors sometimes come from where we least expect them.